Pokemon Fusions. You know them, you love them, but what if they were shiny? Today we'll be playing Pokemon Charged Red, a game with incredible custom-made fusions and amazing shiny odds. But can I beat it as a hardcore Nuzlocke? Before jumping in, let me know your favorite shiny Pokemon. Also, be sure to subscribe and let's try to smash 1,800 likes for these insane shiny fusions. With all that said, let's get into it. After naming ourselves Shine and our rival Dull, it's time to pick our starter. In this game, our options are the Paris Bulbasaur Fusion Bulbasect, the Slowpoke Mudkip Mudpoke, and our choice, the Cyndaquil Pichu Cyndachew. After around half an hour of resets, we finally end up with this really cool gray and purple fire mouse who I'll later name Sparky. Dull's Mudpoke is already on level 6 with Bubble, so it takes us down, but luckily the Nuzlocke hasn't started yet. After getting Oak his parcel, the professor hands us the Pokedex and Pokeballs, so let the hunting begin. On Route 1, we catch Buster, the light blue lit lagoon. Every town has grass in this game, so in Viridian, we catch Duckett. I also add Spiriana to the team before it's time to take on Dull again. His lead Hatley goes down to a pair of Embers and a scratch from Sparky, bringing out the starter Mudpoke. I bring Klaus into a bubble from the water psychic type, but he's easily able to take it out with some bites. Last up is Panyouth, who's destroyed by Sly's water guns, and we're free to move on. Before the first gym, we add yet another fire type Lit Bebe along with Catterbat and Shroomskull to the team. Oddly enough, when I stepped into the Pewter gym, it actually turned out to be Erica's grass gym, so I guess we'll be seeing some changes from the normal Kanto route in this game. The grass leader's ace is level 18, so we get to evolve Sparky into Quillichew and Dracule into Golpod and ultimately Crowfree before taking her on. Her lead Chedish is roasted by Sparky's Ember before bringing out the ace Turtle. I switch Klaus in, who's able to tank 2 water guns and get the knockout with some aerial aces. The electric grass Chikorip's Razor Leaf barely hurts Mario as he hits the field. After an Ember, we get paralyzed, but I decide to set up a nasty plot before getting the KO and some recovery with Drain Kiss. Last is the Firegrass Ponaling, whose stomp does decent damage to Lit Bebe, so following an Ember, I bring Quillichew back in. 2 Embers later, and we've got ourselves badge number 1 without any deaths. Our next cluster of hunts gets us Lancelot the Nidopawn, who evolves into Pawnerino, Cyrus the Trapedal, and Gravel the Sansrua. Now it's time for Rival Fight 2. Not much different than the first battle, but Hatley has evolved into Hatravia, which looks amazing, Mudpoke into Marshbro, and he's added a Rolthita to the squad. I decide to fish for my Cerulean encounter and get Ragnarok, the Stuffini. Then we catch a shiny Rolthita before entering the new area, Cerulean Passage. Unfortunately, I swapped Lancelot into a Magnitude 9 from Dwebdude, so a hiker hands us death number 1. And just to add insult to injury, our encounter here ends up being the murderer herself. The passage leads out to another new area, Cerulean Beach, where we catch Cublet and her shiny little red bow tie. She then evolves into this crazy creature at level 16. The city has also been split into Old and New Cerulean, meaning we get one more encounter before the gym, the incredible black sheepdog Ruffulo. Before taking on Blaine in the second gym, we get 2 more evolutions, which are some of my favorites in this game, Sandsark and Flowroar. Gravel starts things strong by taking Panyouth down with a Fake Out followed by Magnitude. Against the Water Fire Nullos, we low roll with a 5, but it only amnesias in response, so we get the KO next turn. Totapig's Aquajet does about a third before we do him in, but assuming Salandbat is a flying type, I swap to Contra. Bulletproof actually blocks Dragon Breath, which seems to be this thing's only attacking move, so our fluffy pup is able to get this knockout with some sucker punches. Last is Slugmanite, but the fiery fossil can't stand up to rock throws, so 2 hits claim us the win and our second badge. On Route 5, we catch Chedish, then in Digduo's cave, we catch the namesake Mon. We also grab ourselves a Ponaling, Peaconcher, and Happy Boo before arriving in Vermilion City. I end up trading Klaus away for this Scragsley, but she isn't shiny, so I won't be using her. I was all set to get on the SSN now, but in this game it's already set sail, so we approach this sailor who offers to smuggle us to one island. In the Pokemon Center, Bill gives us a meteorite to hand over to the man who runs the 2-island game corner, but of course we have a fetch quest to find Lostel first. On the way, we catch Manchu and Impkala, then find the girl being attacked by a Hiphard, so after taking it down, we return her to her father. And for all that work, what do we get? A Moonstone. Back in Vermilion, we evolve Shroomskull into Breastclops and Sam into Claw Cannon before taking on the third gym, which is now run by Brawly. His lead, the grass-fighting Gerdo, is swept away by Dracule's Gust, but as the ice-fighting Primetick comes in, I swap to Mario to eat Ice Punch. Drainkiss can't quite get the kill, but knowing a heal is coming, I take the opportunity to Nasty Plot. At +2, our Kisses are able to drop the Ice Monkey, Grapdaunt, Matchmar, and Murkraloo, but Sneebuskin barely hangs on and uses Agility. After a resisted double kick, we fire off an Incinerate for the kill, easily earning us badge number 3. Route 9 is now replaced by Sand, and I catch myself the Camerupt-colored Nullos. Then on Route 10, we get Zangarisu, and in the New Rock Tunnel, Astral Tunnel, I catch a Coffeeor. Our third battle with Dull in Pokemon Tower is nothing exciting, so we'll move right along to our next set of encounters. Voltmise, Etum, Shuppet, Chikorita, and the static shiny Mimic Blue. With the new members safely in the box, we infiltrate Rocket Hideout to confront Giovanni for the first time. His lead Nidoprime is melted by Sparky's Flame Burst, and as Axtar hits the field, I decide to bring in Rebirth. The Dragon Rock type just dances twice, so we take no damage as a single Bone Club knocks him out, leaving the crime boss with just one Pokemon, Scolafan. Takedown does pretty solid damage, but a turn 1 Will-O-Wisp means we no longer have anything to worry about. I bring Gravel into the next, hit a Fake Out, and finish this battle with a Magnitude 7 to kick Team Rocket out of town. Turns out the Celadon gym is across some water, and since we can't surf yet, we'll just move on. Outside the city, I catch Tree Blue, then we backtrack to Pokemon Tower, where my encounter is Gasnamite. The usual Marowak here is now Deciduous, which has an incredible design. After sending him to the afterlife, we save Steven from Team Rocket and get the Pokeflute. He really couldn't take a few grunts down on his own? Must have left his Metagross in daycare. But thanks to the ex-Hoenn champ, we can catch a Snorking on our way to Fuchsia. Unfortunately, outside the city, we battle a Bird Keeper whose Dugtrio's Arena Trap plus a freeze from Tri-Attack spell the end for Gravel. We catch Fletcheril, Cabothur, and Axtar now, with the latter KOing Mario and Rebirth in the process. Probably not worth it. I add Nimbus to the squad, evolving him into Swavile, and Contra, who evolves into Lycanroll. Then, the Harbinger of Terror, these damn Bird Keepers and their Dugtrios take another teammate from us, Breastclops. So, introducing Haunton. The entrance to Mount Ember is now in Fuchsia, but I can't do much here yet except catch a Matchbee. Now it's time to take on our fourth gym, first evolving Chikorita into Flafleaf and Anfanium, Chedish into Chiroom, Impkala into Grimgrowth, and Swavile into Septaria. This time we're facing Brock, who leads with Aerialith against Outcast. After a Fake Out, Aquajet takes down the Poison Rock and Glacie, but against Lycanroll Midnight, I swap to Saw, who's crit by Night Slash. I then get some Synthesis recovery, but due to Glacie's Hail, we don't get too much HP back. As we see a non-crit Night Slash does more than we're healing, I bring Vegan in, who sets up a Growth before Mega Draining the Fluffy Wolf for a kill. Next up is Crustum, who X-Scissors Chiroom as he puts the bug to sleep. Growth number 2 goes up, and after surviving another Snipping with 11 HP, plus 4 Mega Drain gets the knockout. Some Drain Kisses take Gulassel down, leaving just the ace Haxatar, who uses the not very effective Payback before dying to one last kiss. With the Boulder Badge in hand, I can use Surf, but before returning to Celadon, Trapeadle evolves into Cabrava, then Begon, Sparky reaches his final form, Rhyflosion, I evolve Buster into Taroon, then Obstaroar, and Jules into Curlita and Gothivore. I also catch Spoinchow, Tentalish, and Totapig, only to find out that the supposed fourth gym is locked with no visible way inside. So I decide to just press on to Saffron, where I catch Spritzmaka and set out to free Silphco from Giovanni's clutches. But of course, standing in our way is Dull, so let's get this over with. Sparky's Thunderbolt one-shots Hat Raptor, but Swamp King hangs on with 1 HP, so we Volt Switch out to Nimbus as Lycanroll comes in. A quick Leaf Blade drops Contra's brother, and against the Fairy Ice Dianlass, I use our Wolf to Rock Slide for the kill. This just leaves Gothivore, who goes down to the same, then this employee hands us a Shapress as thanks for coming to save his coworkers. Now it's time to run Giovanni out of the region. We start by swapping Rhyflosion into a Scald from Nidoprim and firing off a Flame Burst for the kill. It takes 2 of the same to KO Nita Sharp, whose Poison Tail does pretty big damage. I bring Nimbus back against Fraxitar, who only Dragon Dances before going down to a Leaf Blade followed by a Dragon Breath. Last is Scolafan, who we pluck, but a crit Poison Fang actually manages to take our Gen 3 starter down. Sam avenges his friend with some Aqua Jets, but that death definitely stung. To take on gym number 5, I grab Classic, who evolves into Dugtrio, and Pan, who evolves into Grumturn. Instead of Sabrina, we find Pike Queen Lucy waiting for us with poison types. Pan starts things off by KOing her Garbacolo with Psychics, taking a swift between attacks. Weezeor gets one shot, but Viperdactyl survives one attack, and after coiling, the Flying Snake one-shots our Psychic Fish with a crit crunch. I bring Outcast in, who's able to get the knockout with Aqua Jet, but against Pinfish, I swapped a Classic to nullify Shockwave. Since the fish spams the electric type move, I set up a bunch of acupressures until we're at +4 attack, taking minimal damage from the revealed Pin Missile and Revenge. Now I finally start firing off digs, one-shotting the poisonous fish, Hydrobach, and the Ace Manexstunk for our 5th gym badge. I thought it was a really cool touch to cover Cinnabar and Ice, since the leader is now Juan, so +1 to the dev team for that. I catch Growlon in the mansion, then evolve Harbinger into Fraxitar and Haxatar, Cheeks into Pignaw, then Feralibor, and Chain Chomp into Deltrode before jumping into the gym. Chain Chomp starts with a crit Thunderbolt to KO Charchomp, but against the ground-type Mamalord, I swap to Seeger. We trade Growths and Amnesias until we're both at +6, and after a not very effective Bulldoze, we drop the Behemoth with Giga Drain. I wasn't expecting Azaflame to bust out Brave Bird, so there goes one of our Grass Fairies. Deltrode is able to dodge Razor Shell from the bird and knock it out with Thunderbolt, and after paralyzing Swamp King, our boosted Hex one-shots it. We switch over to Shadow Ball to drop Grumturn, and against the Ace Alicabra, we use our Thunder Wave Hex combo once more to pick up the win. So now the question is, where's the last gym, and how do we get into the one in Celadon? Well, I astutely saw this gym sign in Viridian, but it's blocked by Rock Smash Rocks, and where do you get the HM in this game? What the hell is Ember Spa? I set off on the mother of all journeys to find it, requiring me to pass through Muddy Forest, Green Path, and Outcast Island to eventually get the HM from this old man. Oh, and I also lost Sam to this Mega Swamp King Sludge Bomb. And when I finally entered the gym, it turned out to not even have a badge. It's just a building where you can battle the dev team of this game. Okay, no big deal, only a waste of about 2 hours, maybe we can get into Celadon. Well, I scoured the internet and saw a single Reddit comment that said the gym leader was on 4 Island. I can assure you, they are not. But for some reason, the Fuchsia Safari Zone warden was here. Not that strength is gonna help. So fast forward another few hours, and I had to enable walk-through walls to cheese my way into the gym. Let's battle Whitney, I guess. I did buy a linking cord at the department store first to evolve Aura into Genzone, though. Now to the battle. Sparky leads off by one-shotting her Alkralish with Flamethrower, and blinded by rage and frustration, I didn't realize I brought the non-shiny Shaperis with me to this fight. Flora Giga Drains Lycanwolfer and Oko, and after swapping Sparky back into a not very effective Moonblast, we downed the Blimp with T-Bolt. Another Shock and a Volt Switch bring Genzone in against the milk-drinking Dread Tank, but it just takes a single Flash Cannon to get the kill. The leader's last 2 mons, Goth of War and Granland, go down to the same, so that's it for the 8th badge. I decided, after exploring as much of the map as I could, that there is no 4th gym, so after evolving Ragnarok into Stuffinair and Dragaware, we're walking through walls to the league. Dull's only new addition to his team is a Quillichu, so we're gonna move right along to just outside the Indigo Plateau where Oak is waiting for us. He actually wants to battle using each starter and their Mega Forms to fill out his team of 6. We get through the battle without any deaths, but another interesting game design choice as the level cap of the first Elite Four member is lower than the 8th gym, forcing me to switch my team up. Ultimately, I land on a team of Cheeks, Ragnarok, Contra, Chain Chomp, Jules, and Buster. The first member of this league is Nolan, the Battle Factory Brain, and his team of Ice types. Buster starts us off with a Fire Fang, which does enough damage to Icinant that it KOs itself with Curse. I then switch Cheeks in, who dodges Probe Stone Edge, then a Fire Fang plus Drain Punch get the knockout after taking around half from the Rock-type move. Next up is Frozantula, who Thunder Waves Chain Chomp as he comes in, but after avoiding Blizzard, we do 60% with Shadow Ball. The Icy Bug connects next turn as we're fully paralyzed, so now I go back to Cheeks, who also dodges. We're outsped on the following turn and discharged down to 9 HP plus paralysis, but luckily our blue boy breaks through for a Fire Fang kill. I bring Contra into Glacie's Moonblast, then crit a Rock Slide for the one-shot, sending in the water-fighting Suicune. I let Ragnarok tank low sweep, but now that multi-scale has been busted, we can only use a single E-speed before we need to switch out. I pivot through Deltrode to Lycanbull to nullify low sweep and take minimal damage from Ice Fang. Unfortunately, Stab Body Slam wasn't enough to finish the legendary, so we lose our Wolf to low sweep. Moxie is absolutely terrifying here, but anticipating a heal, I bring in Jules and Fake Tears as the full restore comes out. He's able to live through the neutral low sweep, and at -2 defense, the super effective Dazzling Gleam picks up the knockout. Last is the Ice Ghost Sandsark, but Buster can shake off Ironhead and Shadow Ball to crunch and Fire Fang for the win. Oh, looks like Lieutenant Surge has replaced Bruno, so let's take on his electric types. His lead Zangarisu is outsped and dropped by Buster's Earth Power, bringing in Lux Caddy. After a Thunder Wave, we Earth Power for 50%, but then we're attracted by the feline. We actually only take one Thunder before breaking through our False Love and finishing Mon number 2 with another explosion of the Earth's crust. Against the Lieutenant's Deltrode, we Sucker Punch to knock it out before it could even fire off an attack, but Manek Stunk brings us into the red with Discharge and we get fully paralyzed. I bring Chain Chomp into the next Jolt and then hit a Shadow Ball for 70% and tank another. This time Surge swaps to Electaloud, who's unaffected by our Ghost-type move, so I go to Ragnarok, who barely feels crunch. Drain Punch brings the normal electric type low, and after a heal it just takes one more and a Facade to pick up the kill. Our Dragon then extreme speeds to finish Manek Stunk, leaving the War Vet with his ace, Mega Riflosion. I go to Jules, who takes a little under half from Thunderbolt, and as I click Dark Pulse, we're outsped and crit on the next one, taking our Dark Fairy down. Chain Chomp is able to live through one Shadow Ball to do 50% with the same, but then I need to switch to Ragnarok to eat some Thunderbolts and finish this battle with Dragon Pulse. Elite 4 Member 3 is one of my favorites, Grimsley. He leads Umberton, but Buster's Taunt makes sure he can't use Wish. We tank some Shadow Balls and Dark Pulses before ultimately getting the kill with a mix of Sucker Punch and Fire Fangs. Next is Mandalisk, who Earthquakes as I swap into Dragaware. Next turn we're Body Slammed and then take the Dark Normal type out with a Drain Punch. Chain Chomp can't be hit by the same from Honchrorio, but then a Sucker Punch takes out our Ball and Chain. Now Cheeks comes in and trades almost all of his Drain Punches with the Dark Fighting type before finally getting the KO with Aqua Jet. Sandsark wastes its life Swords Dancing twice as Ragnarok drops it with a pair of Drain Punches, then Lycanbull goes down to the same. Last up is Blazevial, who survives the fighting type move after hitting Night Slash. As Grimsley uses a full restore, we can fire off 2 Facades for the win, only being hit by Brave Bird between attacks. With half our team gone and 2 more battles to go, will we be able to come out on top? Drake leads Charchomp, who Dragon Dances before being one-shot by Ragnarok's Dragon Pulse. Trapantrum goes down to the same, and then the non-shiny Dragaware survives one and dances before being healed and KO'd by a second Pulse and an E-Speed. Noisazzle has the same hubris as the rest of his friends, but Haxatar survives our attack and actually damages us with Dragon Claw. Although we Drain Punch for the kill, we aren't at full health, so Multiscale is now offline. Thankfully, X-Commence boosts its attack so we can square up with close combat for the one-shot, completing the sweep of Hoenn's Dragon Master. Well, here we are. All that's left is to beat Dull one last time and be crowned champion. But this time, it's a double battle. He leads Hat Raptor and Lycanwool as I send out our 2 fire types, Cheeks and Buster. The Sheep Wolf hits Obstaroar for over half his health with Stone Edge as Hat Raptor does the same to Feralibor with Brave Bird. We retaliate with a Drain Punch to one-shot the Dark Normal type, but Cheeks' punch into the physically bulky Dianelast doesn't do much. After a hail and a brave bird into Buster, he flare blitzes the Ice Fairy for a kill, and Cheeks' Aqua Tail does over half to the incoming Rhyflosion. Sucker Punch takes the Mega down, and then Hat Raptor makes itself faint with Healing Wish. We then crack Gothivore with Aqua Tail as he comes in, so we're about even in HP now. Buster gets one more Sucker Punch off, this time hitting Swamp King, but Feralibor's Aqua Jet just isn't enough to finish Gothivore, who connects Dark Pulse against the wrestler. As Swamp King finishes our Route 1 catch with Scald, Gothivore dies to Hail, but it also breaks Ragnarok's Multiscale. Regardless, our Dragon uses Knockoff to avenge his friend, earning us the title of Kanto Champion while just managing to keep Cheeks alive. Even though it wasn't the squad I was intending to use in the end, we were able to beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Charged Red version 2 with only shiny fusions. Up until the end of the game where we had difficulties, I really enjoyed this playthrough, plus I think a lot of the fusion sprites were super cool. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.